Hello everybody, it's me, I'm back, David, in March the 4th or so, on a Wednesday. And I am here to touch base again and to speak to everyone, let you know how I'm doing, and touch up on a few points. It's beautiful again. So I see me looking up and around because the sun has been out, everything has turned green again, and it's exciting to me, because this winter has been quite a very depressing one for me. Maybe partially because it was so financially frustrating and straining on the wallet and the mind, and or maybe it was simply just a lack of things to do, and also lack of inspiration. I basically had a few months of winter blues. What's there much to say? A lot of people these days go through depression and the winter blues, so we call. And then when the spring comes and everything turns green, we always turn back, usually, to the normal selves, But it was hard, It was hard just taking care of myself, For a while there, I was stuck to just me and my mind. And there was days where I wouldn't eat, days where I wouldn't wash, days where I wouldn't stop sleeping, days where I wouldn't start aching. But that's all part also of tapering, and I'll get to that soon. And I want to go through a few points before I get to that. The tapering. I'll mention quickly about the tapering near the end, how I'm doing and stuff. But I had a real lucky one that I want to tell you about, and that was a chimney fire. This winter, not too long ago, a couple months ago. And I was just going to go to sleep upstairs, just about 45 minutes before this fire started. I was heading upstairs to my bedroom to go to sleep, but something caught my eye for a bit longer on the internet, and I ended up staying downstairs where the wood stove is, And sure enough, the copper pipes inside caught fire, and then the chimney inside, and it was quite a bit of an ordeal that I managed to put out the fire, and nobody got hurt and nothing got hurt, so everything was fine. The only thing is fear, I got this crazy fear now of fires and going to sleep, and not knowing that, for example, your chimney's caught on fire, and then never waking up again. Basically, if I would have gone to bed that 45 minutes earlier, I would have never woken up again. That log cabin I live in is a very old cabin, 120 years old, and it would have burned within a matter of minutes, maybe an hour tops, It's so dry and old. So I was spared somehow, And that brings me to talking about guardian angels, I believe I have one. Many of us do believe they have them. Some of them, like our grannies, our grandparents perhaps, are watching over us, or whoever it may be. In my case, I do believe I have a guardian angel, and I do believe my grandmother is out there somewhere, my mother's mom, watching over us, making sure we're happy and making the right decisions. Yes. Because I don't know, I shouldn't actually be here talking to you. That's how lucky I have been throughout my life. And I've already been through like about 3 or 4 chimney fires in my life, and different types of fires. I have lived through, the slums and the ghetto and crazy street life that kids choose, when they make wrong choices. And I have, seen a lot of violence and experienced a lot of violence, and I have, thank God I was able to avoid a lot of the violence happening to me, and because some of it is brutal reality, and it was brutal, and I made it through, people getting shot, people getting stabbed, overdoses, right, left and center, I've survived so many overdoses, always woke up. So many people always are dying of overdoses. It's incredible, So many times I survived car accidents I don't even remember now, how many times it was. I remember once I opened my eyes just before I went over a cliff in a car, and why I opened my eyes at that moment, I don't know. Once I opened my eyes just as our, mine and my girlfriend's covers in our bed were burning into flames, and we would burn to death in our sleep, in our bed, if I hadn't opened my eyes for some reason. And these things keep happening over and over and over, and just like my crazy battle with this opiate addiction, alcohol addiction, which I have already, prevailed, tobacco addiction, which I have almost pretty much gone. I am not a regular smoker no more, and never will be. I am same with drinking, very rare. And I have to say that today is 5 years since I've been on rehab. March, I believe it was March 2015 when I got onto the program after a month of waiting on the list. It was crazy, but I made it. And so it's been 5 years now in rehab, see? And I am tapering down now. I am at about 50 milligrams methadone and 1.25 milligram of clonazepam daily. The doctors think I'm taking a little bit more daily, but I am taking less. And I do that in such a way that when I see a doctor and get a bunch of meds to take home with me for a few days, I get rid of it. Either I do it, in that one day, and I just take a little bit more medication, which is a mistake, which is bad self-medicating, or I get rid of it by simply throwing it down the sink, I do not sell it. I do not promote doing that. You know, I'm not a dealer or anything like that, and I just keep it to myself. If I ever get sick, very sick, for example, what are you gonna do? You don't want to go on the streets, you don't want to go and bother anybody or get anyone off the right track, and you don't want to cause any unnecessary pain or problems to anybody, You want to be independent. But self-medicating is a very tricky thing. Again, I am learning, and look, I am an older man already. Again, I am learning that self-medicating is not that good. It actually hurts a lot, It's responsible for me spending a lot of time in bed, for me being so down and weak. I'm feeling so weak, and completely down on myself, But the last few days, for example, I cleaned my whole house. I played guitar. I did this. I did that. I wrote things, and I became not only, I became not only, artistic, and started doing stuff and active. But I also started cooking and making myself eat, and suddenly noticing how much only that little bit changes, and for the better. The fact that I've cooked and eaten a whole bunch of good food, and had some good tea, and after a few days you always feel better. But jumping from milligrams to milligrams to milligrams to milligrams, jumping around like that is not healthy. That's why you should go according to what the doctor says, and go exactly according as, be on the same page exactly as the doctor, take exactly as the doctor says, and just suck it up. I know it's gonna take longer. The reason I self-medicate and I try to get off the meds faster, and therefore I suffer and feel a lot of pain in my guts, in my organs, and in my head and such, and my legs, is because I self-medicate, and because I don't do it accordingly like the doctors say, because I'm trying to do it faster, because I'm afraid that they are trying to feed me these meds forever, and however long it takes, but I don't want to, I don't want to be on that plane or on that boat or on that train ever again, I don't want to go on and play this forever game, I want there to be an ending. And I've learned in the past already that if I want to create an ending, I have to create it for myself, It's like that quote: the best way to create your own future is to do it yourself, And so 24 years into this battle with the opiate addiction, and it's been 5 years since I had injected that heroin into my arms. 5 years. I'm proud of myself, actually. I don't know if I would be, brave enough to do that kind of stuff anymore. I don't know. Especially, having a partner or a lover, you also want to be responsible and clean, and make sure your blood and everything, you're a healthy being, because if you want to spend your life with somebody and have a partner and a healthy life and happier life, then you have to make healthier and happier decisions for yourself first. You can't just go out on a bench, or you can't have relapses, or you can't go back to any of that kind of behavior, or your well-being will be, it will be shattered, it will be sabotaged, and then your whole great idea of a life that could be will fall apart. Whereas it doesn't have to be so, not at all. Um, as you see, it's been 5 years, but I stick to the program, and as you see, I'm okay. I'm healthy. I'm not falling apart. I look okay. I'm not shaking. I'm not convulsing. I'm not freaking out anxiously on you here. I'm just walking along this beautiful, 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 what looks like the Great Canadian Shoulder, a little bit here on Denman Island. And see it this way, there's like a big fall cliff going down, down the hill. So here I am, and I am not giving up, not giving in. I am remaining active a little bit, still within my support groups. I've already actually proposed to one doctor at the Denman Island Medical Clinic a few days ago that I would be willing to support and help with hosting and facilitating NA support groups on Denman Island, because there is only AA here on Denman Island. There is no Al-Anon, no NA, no harm reduction groups. There is one very little one, but that's just on a personal one-to-one basis over the phone, or you can set up an appointment and meet up with a lady. But what I'm talking about is hosting actual meetings. And we'll see if this goes any further. But the last time I proposed and put out my help out there on Denman Island, I got the permission to host AA groups at the Denman Island Medical Clinic waiting area every Tuesday evening. And I hosted it for maybe 4.5 years. I was the chairman, and then I passed the keys on and the books and the writings on to the group and other members, and I continued on my other journeys, and it's been now 10.5 years since I drank. And the group has been going for about 10 years and thriving, and I heard it's doing very good, which I'm very happy. Because I provided a foundation many years ago, like a decade ago, for support that is happening right now. Look at this beautiful view. And now as I go around this corner, it's also beautiful. So as you see, I'm functional. I'm self-maintaining, living alone. I see my daughter when I can. Look at this. Huh? Crazy. Wow. So yeah, there's good days and bad days. I used to be at around 100 milligrams daily of methadone, and I used to be on about 4 milligrams of clonazepam. Now I'm down to 50 of the methadone and 1.25, 1.5 of the clonazepam. So, as you see, there's ways to deal with it, but I have to push myself to keep the house clean, to keep myself clean. The hygiene's very important, and it starts with your space where you live, then continuing onto your body and yourself and how you smell and that you're clean and well maintained and hygiene, and then pushing yourself to cook, and even if it is from scratch. Yesterday, what I had to do is I had to grate a bunch of vegetables, about 5 or 6 different vegetables, into one mash with added salt and pepper and an egg, and I fried up these really tasty vegetable pancakes, with a side of sunny side up eggs. It's beautiful, wonderful, and then I made sure that I made a whole bunch for later. So now anytime I get hungry, I just heat up the pan and throw a big fat spoon of that and spread it around and make a big vegetable pancake, fry it up and eat it up, and just pushing yourself to do things that will make you feel better, Make that tea if you know it's going to be better than drinking coffee all day, and hurting your liver because you're doing that, like me, drinking coffee all day. And the liver finally hurts eventually. But now lately I've been making myself make that pot of tea, and that's it, period. Make that pot of tea, making the pot of tea. And so that was my check-in. Everything's all right. And I encourage everyone to keep fighting, never give up. Go into rehabilitation if you must. If you're gonna mess with these things, with these drugs and these other crazy things, then and you're gonna put yourself and other people and your family and loved ones in harm's way and a lot of pain, emotional pain or whatnot, might as well go into rehabilitation and get stabilized, settle down a bit, become human again, and smell the roses, feel the wind, see the green everywhere, feel the sun, and then start over, see what happens. Hey, you never know. Along this pathway for the last 24 years, I've seen quite a few people walk away into a good, stable life, and they, they're doing great. And some of them for many, many years, and some of them forever, and hopefully some of them also forever. And I also believe that I may be in the 3% that survive this ordeal. 3% success rate overall in Canada. So I wish everyone good luck. I'm gonna go now and feed my belly a bit more so that my mind works a little better. And by loving yourself, you can love others. So I'll proceed to do that, Lately it's been a kind of a weird month, where people have been suicidal, people have been depressed, People have been threatening each other, and people have been weird, and but there was always someone who stepped up to the plate and was there to help and to support. For example, today someone called and just to check in from support group, just to check in because they'll be away for a few days in Vancouver to a hockey game, and they just want to check in, and I'm okay. And I decided when I hung up to check in with someone else, and I sent them a message too, wishing them well, hoping they're okay. And so we help each other. Harm reduction, harm prevention. Always here if anybody needs to talk. There's always so many methods, so many techniques, so many ways to battle cravings, to battle addictions, and all these things. So I'll end here and wish everybody a wonderful day. I'm doing good. I'm not giving up.